A sister's relationship is a very special one, and in hard times they can often be there to help and support one another. Sally Magnuson went to South London to meet two sisters whose bond is so strong it was able to provide an incredible gift of hope out of adversity.
These are black bears.
3 years ago, Siobhan Terry was a happily married new mum. Life was good, until suddenly she was rocked by some devastating news.
In the winter when there's not enough food.
It was just after my daughter Saoirse's first birthday when I was diagnosed with cancer of the cervix, which was a big shock, a difficult time to go through.
Siobhan put on a brave face, but the only treatment that would save her life was aggressive chemotherapy, which left her infertile.
I took it for granted that I'd have a few children. I'd always wanted to give Saoirse a brother or sister.
But that dream looked impossible until something extraordinary happened. I've come to meet Siobhan and her elder sister Ellie, as well as a new addition to the family. What happened after you knew you were cured, which was great, but then were told that you were infertile and couldn't have any more children?
Then we got the incredible offer from Ellie.
Which was?
That she could have a baby for us.
I just said I can have a baby for you, didn't I? It wasn't a thought process, it was my immediate decision. Well, it was my immediate feeling, really. Yeah.
Tell me who we've got here and what age he is.
Well, this is Fiernan, and he's just passed his first birthday, so he's 12 months old.
Ellie, being single, offered to be a surrogate for her sister. And so, using Siobhan's husband's sperm and a home insemination kit, Ellie became pregnant with Fiernan, who's biologically her child, but being brought up as Siobhan's. However, as Catholics, this wasn't a decision the sisters took lightly.
I asked God, is this the right thing to do? Should I turn down her offer? And I did come to the conclusion in the end, after some soul searching and prayer, that this was the right thing to do, and be grateful for this wonderful gift.
Surrogacy within the Catholic Church is contentious, but the sisters felt what they were doing fitted with their own personal faith.
Although it's not the traditional way you would create a family, create a life, we didn't feel that there was any moral reason why we shouldn't do it. We've always been very honest with Fiernan, and we will be as he grows up, about where he came from.
We felt it was the next best thing to a natural conception, and we did actually speak to a priest who said that he would support our decision and that we would be congratulated.
Did you think beforehand about what it would be like to hand over that baby?
Well, I never saw him as mine to hand over. I always saw him as Siobhan's baby. When I want to have mine, then I'll have my own. But from the moment he was conceived, he was always Siobhan's baby that I was babysitting. Dancing.
Emotionally, I knew she'd go on a bit of a roller coaster with her hormones and protective love that she'd probably feel for Fiernan. But also I knew that she would be always very close to Fiernan. She will always have a special bond.
I mean, you're making it sound so easy and so smooth and so cheerful and so perfect. Was it really? Was there never anything? Was there never
how
any
it was?
moment?
Yeah, I mean,
I think it could really only work with your sister or someone that you're very, very close with. But I would say I wouldn't have done it for anyone other than my sister.
Ellie offered to do this out of love, and I think that's the most important reason why no other issues came up with us. It was all very simple. We just need to look at him here and know that we made the right decision. Everything was worthwhile.
Yeah.
Coming up, a very personal story of faith and identity. But first, we've travelled down the road here in Gorton to a former monastery that's also making its name as a concert venue. I think you're going to enjoy this. It's Prt2. From earliest memories, Edinburgh-based playwright John Clifford struggled with self-identity, but it was only after marriage, children and the death of a wife that John was able to go through a life change and instead of John, became Joe.
I wasn't at ease with being a boy. I would look in the mirror and I couldn't quite recognise the person that I saw there. And that frightened me a lot, and I felt very isolated. I felt very alone. I had a successful career. I had 2 beautiful daughters. I had a wife who loved me dearly. We had a very good life, but this sense that I wasn't being true to myself was gnawing away at me. After I started to live as a woman, and that really didn't happen till after my wife had died, and my children were grown up by then. I'd kind of really fulfilled my duty in a way as a husband and a father. And then as I started to, I suppose, learn to accept myself and learn to love myself, because the gospel tells us that we have to love our neighbour as ourselves. And then since then it's all started to begin to make much more sense to me. It is wonderful to feel part of a community that accepts me completely, where I can absolutely be myself. Because of course in the past, whenever I went to church, I felt in a way I was in disguise. I was pretending to be a man. I was pretending to be somebody that I really wasn't. Well, in a way I am born again. I have a new life, and life is opening up to me in ways now that it never used to before. From the very beginnings of me starting as a playwright, I wanted my plays to have a spiritual dimension to them. As I started to really try to write about transgender themes, I became interested in viewing this as a religious question. I'm certainly a long way from that very frightened boy that was trying to ask God the questions. But I think in a way God has answered them. I feel like someone that's been through a lot of storms and have kind of reached safe harbour.